Hey, what's up guys, this is GM Weagal on your Overwatch, back with a new video today. We're going to be bringing back a series from about a year ago where we used to review people's gameplay. We got very entrenched in the meta and the best ways to play, but I know that some of you really want to be simply taught on your gameplays, and that is a lot of fun for us to do. So we're back and we're going to do it today. I'll be going through some Tracer footage sent in by one of our viewers. This gameplay is very good and very interesting for loads of different reasons, because this player could be way higher than gold/plat. This is very cool gameplay. Now, if you'd like us to review your gameplay, then you can send it into youroverwatchplays@gmail.com. All we need to know about the gameplay in the subject line is what rank you are and what hero you're playing. That's all we need, guys. Just make sure that it's at least 30 frames per second and 720p, because anything below that can be a real problem to try and edit. As a Tracer player myself, I'm going to be quite harsh on our friend here, but we're going to jump straight into this Li Zhang game right now. And the team comp's not great. There's a D.Va, Orisa, terrible tank comp, but it doesn't matter too much because we're playing at a kind of a lower level, and the enemy team also don't have a great setup either. So straight away in this first fight, our tanks don't initiate. So our Tracer's just trying to get a pick here. Now, there's not a lot to take from this team fight because it's super messy. But as our Tracer player, what I would say here is you really should be trying to prioritize a target. And it's always good to swap between targets as Tracer, but you have to pick the right target to swap to. And here you shoot 3 or 4 different people within like a 5-second space. And there's no way you were going to confirm any of them kills. So it's good to try and actually focus on the right target. Anna might have been pretty good there as well. Of course, a typical ultimate waste. I know you're trying to clutch out the point, but when you're down that much, usually you're better off always saving your ultimate for the next fight. Now, if we break this fight back down, it's actually more positive than negative. There's some really good stuff in here that you don't notice on first glance. So straight away, you want to fight the soldier and you're thinking about blinking in, but you see the Roadhog and you back up with your team and stay safe. That's just a good play straight away. Now, here is the section I was talking about where you kind of get a little bit confused. You think you'll fight D.Va, and then you think you'll fight Soldier, and then you kind of go for Lucio, and then you blink and you get lost, and then you try and kill the Soldier again, and then you swap back to someone else. And right here, you realize that you're struggling prioritizing, and you then focus on this Soldier to take him out of the fight. Your Reaper joins you in this, which is so important to focus fire and take out the main DPS threat. And you manage to clean up that guy, which is so good. Your Lucio gets a really good boop and gets the guy off the map. Now, unfortunately, in this time, which is probably why you did need to decide who you were killing a little bit quicker, is some of your teammates have died by the time you kind of win out this fight, and you actually end up losing. You do struggle with the priority on the Roadhog and the Genji too. I'm not sure what one would have been better, and then the Pulse Bomb also gets wasted at the end, and you lose the fight. So you've kind of thrown an ultimate out there, and I don't think you even played terribly here. I've got to be honest, it was pretty good mostly. If you just isolate that target a bit quicker and keep your pulse bomb for the next fight and regroup, that's a much better situation than what ended up happening, which is unfortunate, but there's definitely a lot of positives coming up in this game, so don't worry. When we go into this next fight, we actually have a tank in front for a second. And one thing I want to mention about this Tracer player straight away is that for a gold/plat player, the blink management is very good. When you're playing Tracer, you only want to use your recall as a last resort when you're going to die. And this player generally does that like every single time. Really good target priority from the whole team here, actually. You'll see that the whole team are chasing down these things one by one, which is really nice to see. But this player's ability to keep blinks and to keep the rewind for when you need it is very good. You don't want to be rewinding, and you only really want to be blinking to avoid. You don't want to be blinking too much to get in and out of the fight all the time, because they don't regen as quickly as you think they do. Now, the next thing that happens here, and it's only short, but I like it a lot actually, is you'll see that our player jumps in to fight the D.Va here, but then thinks, actually, what's the point in this fight, and goes off to help a teammate in the back line. This is just really solid fundamentals and knowledge on getting in and helping your teammates. This is really good, because a lot of people will keep fighting that D.Va or the Roadhog, which I've seen a lot from this game as well, and we'll highlight that in a minute. Bit of an extended fight here. The Soldier goes down though and get the stick on the Roadhog, which is really nice. Now, one thing I'd like to go into here, which is one thing that I think Taria here could actually learn the most, I would say, is actually aiming a little bit. I would say that the sensitivity you're using is too high, or if it's not high, there's some control issues there. Now, this could be multiple things. This could be the sensitivity, but also if your DPI is too low on Overwatch, you get this weird bobble on your crosshair at all times. And I slowed some of this gameplay down, and you'll see that even when you're stationary and you shouldn't really be moving your mouse, the crosshair is still moving. So I would assume this is a super high sensitivity, so I'd definitely recommend bringing that down. But a DPI, and one that most people play on, is 1600. Some of the pros play on slightly lower, but if you make it too low, it causes issues with your aiming. So 1600 DPI, and then just take the sensitivity where you want it in game. Mine's like 1.5 or something, which is still quite high because the DPI is high, but you need to be careful with that because a lot of people make this mistake. If your DPI is too low, your aim's really dodgy, and it actually pixel skips is what it's called, and it will skip when you're trying to aim at people, which isn't helpful at all. The other thing I would recommend here is to just work on aim, do drills. We've spoke about this before. You can do this in private match. You can just utilize quick play. You can even use other games like CSGO, anything that's going to improve your aim. But our Tracer friend here is very good at blink management, probably nearly GM level, if not GM. Very, very good blink management for the most part, but the aim, I think, is what's slacking. And it isn't even that the blinks are throwing the aim off, it's that the aim is very, very streaky. So sometimes the aim's amazing, and at other times really, really struggling to hit things that are right in front of you. And that, to me, looks like a sensitivity and just a practice issue. We're going to jump into round 2 now, because there's some interesting things going on in this. But straight away, this is a good kill on the McCree, fair enough. But there's an issue with what's happened here, and our team has already lost, I believe, a Diva Mech and a Reaper straight away, which is really, really bad, as you guys can probably imagine. Now, the good thing about it is we frag out with the McCree, we come round to the Zen, and he's a sitting duck for us. So there is a frag out battle here, but the team splitting up and taking no initiation there at the start is really risky, not only from our Tracer player, but it's just bad team engagement overall. The good thing is our Tracer manages to get loads and loads of ultimate and then sticks the Roadhog and secures the fight pretty much with a hard carry. Some really, really nice use of the pulse bomb there and charging the ult very quickly, which I did notice when watching this gameplay back is one of the best things our Tracer friend does here, is to get the pulse bomb as often as possible to take something out of the fight. But there's also some issues which I'll actually highlight now, and I'll mention it, and you guys will notice it as time goes on. We are fighting the Roadhog too much in a 1v1 in this game. Now, Roadhog's very good for charging your ult, and a good Tracer can beat a Roadhog, especially if they're not as good as you, because they will just not hit a hook on you, especially when your blink management is this good. But the thing is, if you're always fighting their Roadhog and not killing him, which is the important thing, then you're, yes, charging your ult, but your team need help. You need to help your team. So taking these engagements you have to be very, very careful with, because the Roadhog may not be the pick you need. If he's missing hooks anyway, you may want to be in the back line killing the Mercy or the Ana or whatever the actual threat is, because it doesn't seem to me like their Roadhog in this game is having much impact whatsoever. Now, another thing is pulse bomb management, because when you're sticking this Roadhog at times, the Roadhog isn't dying, which is another big problem. There's actually a panicked ult here which I can show you on screen, but the thing is, this isn't even the one I'm talking about. There's a few times where you stick the Roadhog, but he has too much health, you can't kill him with it, and it's a complete waste of the pulse bomb. Now, some targets for the pulse bomb that are good are tanks, and Reinhardt in particular is amazing, because you don't have to put much extra damage in him. But you have to be careful. You have to get a kill with a pulse bomb. It's one of them ults that's team fight changing. If you stick it, you can win, kill 2 people easy, but if you're missing too many of them, it becomes a problem for your team. I don't think that too many are being missed in this game, but I noticed that there's always these extended fights with the Roadhog, and it just happened again there, where you're fighting the Roadhog, but there's still this whole enemy team healing him, and you're not going to secure the kill. You get another pulse bomb, but no kills are confirmed whatsoever. So target priority here is very, very important. Trying to kill somebody that's actually weak and not being healed. The Roadhog simply has too much health in this situation. The last thing that's really obvious to me in this round is just the pure amount of trickle from the team. Even all the way up until this last fight, no one's regrouping. Everyone's still fighting, and it goes on for a while. But if we'd have just waited when it was like 70 points and regrouped and gone in as a team and fought, this game would have been won so much easier. It's really, really bad fundamental play, and not from our Tracer player, just from people in general. This happens all the way through the ranks, and not regrouping when you've easily got the advantage. It's such a big mistake that a lot of people make. And you'll see later on in this third round that a very similar thing happens. Now look at this Roadhog again. We mentioned it before. Hello Roadhog, how you doing, buddy? Let's just have this extended fight for him. This fight. Oh, we're going to beat the Roadhog, are we? Oh no, he's healed himself, and Mercy is back. This is that percentage play that I'm talking about. Do you want to be fighting this Roadhog that isn't hitting many hooks and then charging the Mercy when she comes to save him? Have to be careful. Now, it pays off in this instance because you manage to stick the Roadhog and then some really good plays. You get some pretty nice tracking on the Lucio for the most part. Very hard to kill people sometimes. As a Tracer player myself, and I watch pros and I watch a lot of really good players, Tracer's not easy to track with. And no matter how good you are, you're always going to be whiffing shots at times. Sometimes your aim's going to look horrendous, and that is just the thing you take on when you play Tracer. That's how she is. In this next fight, we're fighting the Roadhog once again. Surprise, here he is over by the health pack now. We're going to get the pulse bomb, I believe, and try and stick him, but we've also died. We've stayed in the fight too long. See, this is bad. This is exactly what I was talking about. I don't need to highlight it again, but fighting the Roadhog once more in order to then, like, die and be down in the team fight, such a big mistake, but an easy one to make as Tracer. Credit, you know, where due. It's difficult. It is difficult. Now, the team lose the fight here very, very heavily. I believe they're 4 down at this point. Trying to kill a Pharah that's being healed, very difficult but possible. Now here, we're going to see another wasted pulse bomb. So, your team are down, regroup. The one good thing is you did have the point, so stalling it out's not so bad. And you do have to weigh up your options. Usually, you don't want to use an ultimate to stall out this fight when they're retaken, especially when you're the last guy alive. If you're like 4v6 and you have the point and it's ticking up, you can use some ults. But when you're the last guy alive, honestly, it's not worth it. Now, for this kind of rank, we've got some tier 1 regrouping here. Actually back in spawn. Very good to see. There's also some good communication. The Lucio's trying to communicate all the time. However, this is not a very good ult by the Lucio. I don't know what this guy was thinking. Now, we've got the Roadhog in the face once again overextending, but getting away with it. We're trying to clean him up, and there we do. We do get him. Now, Panic Pulse Bomb. Didn't even need the Pulse Bomb, actually. Now, I don't know how this McCree manages to walk back into it, but it did pay off. We didn't need the Pulse Bomb again here. So far, about halfway into this, the things that I would definitely highlight, and you guys can let me know what you think in the comments, is great blink management, iffy aim at times, so just a little bit of aim practice required, and Pulse Bomb, a little bit of patience, I would say, with the Pulse Bomb. And of course, don't always fight the tank on your own, because he might not necessarily be the high priority target. Now, what happens here is what I like to call emotional. We're about to win the game. We've got 97 points, the enemy team only have 45, and we lose the trickle battle. We shouldn't lose the trickle battle, but we do, okay? Mr. Tracer, you've lost the trickle battle. Now, we're not stalling anything out at this point. In fact, we're charging enemy ults. At least some of them are being used, which is good. We get rid of the Pharah ult, the Diva ult. There's some stuff going on, which is nice. However, our soldier's wasted his ult, and we're not going to win this fight. There isn't an actual regroup now for the rest of the game. This is fundamentals that we talk about all the time, and I'm sure sounds like a broken record to people. And the Lucio does a couple of times call for a regroup, which is great by him. However, as the frontline Tracer player, you have to be aware of when your team are dying and when they're down. And it is never okay on King of the Hill to stall out a fight when the enemy team have the objective. Our Tracer's doing it now. His teammates have just done it, and the enemy team are getting trickle after trickle after trickle. Another wasted pulse bomb as well on the Roadhog. We do end up killing him, but we don't need it. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't serve a purpose. So unfortunately, once more, we're going to stall out and trickle, and people are still trickling and fighting, and it's really, really bad. And this is obvious when you watch it back. And one thing I do recommend, even if you don't want to send us a gameplay yourselves, is watch back your own gameplay, because a lot of these things become obvious very quickly, and the trickle here is some of the worst I think I've ever seen. In the fourth round here, our Tracer friends going around the back for the same flank as before. That did pay off before, but will it this time? The enemy team are not taking anything from our Tracer friend here, and they're all regrouping to actually fight the Tracer as a threat. The hook comes in just a second. The blink management is not good, actually, in this situation. You have to have enough blinks to get out. So, when you come in around this flank, which I don't really recommend, this is not a good flank to just go around and fight 4 people on your own. You have to at least have blinks to get out. Now, one thing Tracer can be very good at is doing what he did, get in behind, fighting people, and then they chase you and your team are actually up in a fight elsewhere. So what happens is you're distracting more people and they're putting a lot of resources into killing you, but they can't kill you. So your team should then be winning the fight theoretically on the other side of things. That's okay as Tracer, but to actually go in, fight 4 people, not get a kill and get fragged out, that is worst case scenario. Now, luckily, kind of what I was talking about did happen, where your team managed to get a frag or 2 on the other side of things, and our Tracer friend manages to come back into the fight and win out from there. Now, there was another Roadhog pulse bomb that I keep talking about. Come on, think about how many pulse bombs I've highlighted. There's probably some I missed too. 5 or 6 pulse bombs. You're getting the pulse bombs a lot, which is great, but they're not always being utilized on the right target. And 3 or 4 have been wasted on a Roadhog, either when the kill didn't matter or simply it didn't kill him, where you could have took your time a little bit more and killed an Ana with it, or stuck the Mercy, or something of that nature. Confirming a kill with it's really important. It is an ultimate you get a lot of the time, but you have to be aware of when you're wasting it. And unfortunately in this game, it's wasted quite often. A lot of the rest of this round, actually, the accuracy from our Tracer player here is just really nice for a lot of this game. And it's really good to see from a lower rank player as well, because some people do get stuck in certain ranks, and just these tiny fundamentals can make all the difference. And as I explained earlier, as a Tracer player, you're going to miss shots. Same as McCree, everyone's hot and cold unless you're some of the best players in the world. And as I explained at the start when I said the aim looks a bit iffy, a lot of that issue does seem to be resolved in this round. Now this is a great res here, however the enemy team do actually get the point. Luckily the team managed to frag out and the enemy team shouldn't gain too much from this, which is nice. It's really good res to see as well. So while the last round plays out, we'll just talk about the things you could do as a Tracer player to improve. And I also want to go through what you kind of rank at, in my opinion, in terms of each different part of your skill set. Now, what you should do is improve is the pulse bombs. I think you're good at sticking them when you don't panic them. So don't panic them is the first thing I would say, and actually sticking them, just take your time a little bit and get the right target. Roadhog's fine, but he has to die and it has to be at the right time, and he has to be a priority target. If he's not doing anything, he's not worth killing, really. Do also be careful when building your pulse bombs, because if you're building them too much and not getting kills, you're also charging enemy ultimates, which is never good. In terms of your blink usage, it's so good. So good for most of this game. You've always got your rewind when you need it. You've got your blinks to get in and out of the fight. And there's not too much really to talk about here. They just practice. That'll get slightly better and get better and better. And you know exactly when to blink. One trick you can do with blinks is when you're in a fight with someone is to blink past them and then blink backwards. This will just completely throw them off. Your aim, I think, is where the most improvement mechanically is needed. I would just say that consistency is the only issue. Your aim is good, but being consistent on that aim is how you should be ranking up. Now, I don't know why you're in plat and gold ranks. I don't know why you're stuck there and why you're struggling. I should imagine with what you're doing, you should be ranking up, really. If you implement these things I'm talking about and hit a couple more pulse bombs and your aim slightly more consistent, I don't think it's possible for you to stay at this rank for more than about 3 games, because a lot of the fundamentals here are better than most golds that I've seen, especially on Tracer. And honestly, the blink management, I would rank you like GM. It's so good and it's really good to see. So guys, let me know what you think. Did I miss anything? What do you think our Tracer player could do here in order to rank up a little bit better? Let me know. Be sure to check out our Twitter, our Twitch, and our Discord, where you guys can find the Tracer main of your dreams. Be sure to send us in your gameplays as well. We'd love to see more. Don't forget to join the notification squad, and have a great day as always, guys. Take care and peace, people.